Good evening, everyone. Welcome to TPO Esports. We're excited to have a game tonight between TPO Argonauts and not TPO, TDS Anteaters. I just had to deal with an issue where they were listed underneath wrong org in our organization. But it's going to be an exciting match. I am Jim Halpert, filling in for Loki Bear, who is feeling unwell and not super energized tonight. And I am joined by Not So Dark. How are you doing tonight, Dark?
I'm doing great. Also, really exciting game between the two orcs. And I'm really interested to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot. Argonauts
Yeah,
always wants to beat everybody that they can, which is always extremely interesting.
I mean
Trying
that's how you have to play, right? If you're playing in a competitive setting and you're not playing to win, then you're not doing it correctly, in my opinion. And um, teachers are also pretty competitive, so
yeah,
it'll be pretty interesting. And we see the bans going on in Italy for from Agronauts and Shen from Anteaters.
not surprising for the Nidalee with the jungler for TDS's name being specifically Nidalee. For TDS Anteaters, we do have a Deviate in the top lane, Nidalee in the jungle, NKB in the mid lane, Onset as ADC, and Rogue Crown 207. And then for TPO Argonauts, we do have Dr. MF in the top lane, Red Eagle in the jungle, the Dr. Bovine Basher in mid lane, and Galaxy Fox and Tactical Baptism in the as the duo in the bot lane. But we do see the rest of the bands come through. There's a Diane and Caitlyn from Argonauts, and a Silas and a Kindred from Anteaters. And that's a first pick to Reliant Soul. How do you feel about that one?
I think everyone so at this point in the meta is really strong. So first picking it definitely um, really good from Agronauts. I'm a little surprised that it wasn't banned, but maybe they
Yeah.
prioritized banning Silas over it, which could be flexed as jungle. So it's understandable, and they probably have a plan about it because, as I said, he's really good in the meta. First pick,
Yeah.
at least by Anteaters, which we saw last time they played.
And that is something that is a bit of a steal away because Red Eagle also does play that as well
Right.
in a
Mm.
Tristana. So it does look like Anteaters are going to look to kind of get some priority picks on their end, stuff that's shared. Blitzcrank out from Argonauts, which was a big pick last year, and the Garen, which is Dr. MF's like main champion that he
Definitely.
has.
Do you think that I'm a bit confused about? Not Tactical Baptism getting his Blitzcrank, Dr. MF getting his Garen, which we saw from the last Argonauts series that they were pretty relevant in game number one and they had to be banned out in game number two and three,
Yeah.
which is also a big reason why they lost that series. Um, so I'm interested to see what Anteaters have decided to counter it because they obviously probably did see the series. So now we going to the second phase of bans. Hecarim, Azir, so far banned out. Maokai
Maokai.
followed by
Big.
Anteaters.
They're looking to target. Looks like they're looking to target Red Eagle a lot. They banned the Silas. They banned the Kindred. Hecarim, Maokai. They took the Elise. That's essentially 5 bans against him. He also plays Diana, so his own team banned another champ. So he's going to be deep in his champion pool.
Which is always interesting to see because not only Anteaters get their third most comfortable jungler, Red Eagle now has to dig a little deeper and see what he can pull out. Which is also another issue when you leave your jungle open, but because how Argonaut functions, they
Ooh.
have to pick their main champions. And Zyra or Khan locked in. Look at Tristana mid lane.
Yeah, they're looking to take as much comfort away from Galaxy Fox. Galaxy Fox does play that Tristana and Zaya. So they do kind of go with that. I have been seeing Tristana pop up a lot in the mid lane recently, which has been very interesting. I am not entirely sure how I feel with letting the Aurelian Soul in with the lack of hard CC, but that's a Kaisa coming through.
Definitely agree with the lack of CC so far, but they do have some sort of like I think Tristana does really good into Aurelion Soul, and then Zaya Kaisa matchup has been a matchup that's been handshook countless times in pro play. Uh, Usually Zaya being the manufacturer of that matchup a little bit, but it always comes down to how you actually play those champions and how you are able to turn it around in team fights because Zaya needs to hold her position with her feathers, while Casa wants to move around and maybe
Get in.
assassinate someone.
Yeah.
So Viego picked up, followed by a Sion top lane. So I think what Agnos is going for is we're running at you and we're
Yeah.
trying to kill you, right? Because Garen runs at you, Blitzcrank runs at you, Kaiser runs at you, and so does Viego. Acel is a really good, safe scaling pickup, while Anteaters have a bit of a mixed comp. At least wants to go in, wants to get early pressure, while Sion and Rakan follow her. But Zaya and Tristana most likely don't want to go in unless they have to. In late game Tristana, you don't really use your jump to go in. You use your jump to reposition, which is always um, prioritized as a child player. As an ADC player, that's something I would be looking for on how NKB, being the mid laner, um, does play around his team comp because he's going to be the most influential player if
Yeah.
this game comes down to. Because Acel, if he gets, I'm not gonna lie, I am part of TDS, and obviously bias aside, but if Acel gets to 35 minutes, the game kind of feels impossible, especially when you pick Elise into it. So if Elise isn't able to get the Tristana ahead, herself ahead, it's going to be a bit of a problem for Anteaters.
Yeah. And I'm kind of surprised by the Viego pick. They picked an Aurelion Soul, and then they didn't really pick anything to help him with his ult, which is very interesting because like I have seen Aurelion Soul with stuff that can like lock people down. I've seen it with Nunu. Jarvan is a big one, locking them in that uh,
Yeah,
catalysm ult. I believe that's the name of it. And it's just something that goes along the course of just being able to easily land that ult is a big thing.
that's definitely true. I think Acel functions best when he has some sort of CC on his team, which Argonauts do lack a little bit with the only CC being Blitzcrank and Viego, like hard CC,
Yeah.
right? Garen can silence you, but it's not the end of the world, which just again comes down to Acel having to play a little harder this game than he would in case if he had like a Jarvan or something who can, as you pointed out, if he has Cataclysm, then it's just an easy E onto R, right? Um, and that turns out for Acel really good. But even now, I think Agnaut has a very decent draft going into the game. If they also need to get uh, picks by Blitzcrank, and if Anteaters is somehow able to sail through the early game um, in a lead, because at least obviously functions better than Viego does, and not die in the bottom lane, which Rakan is really good into Blitzcrank because he can always just E back towards Zaya. And if you play Zaya Rakan, you have double the E range, so you're never ever in danger. So you can always tank a hook from a Blitzcrank. So we'll have to see how they do decide in the playing the team fights because both of them really want to play aggressive on how they position.
Yeah, and the Zyrakan was a really good idea into that Blitzcrank as well, because he gets that extended E. So technically, he could E to Zaya to kind of block a hook for her, and then E back to
Definitely.
her. So
It's
that's
also
something to watch out. See if, um,
I know Agnos is watching the stream, um, but it's also something that Rakan is really good at. When he hides in Fog of War, he can E to his ally and then W pretty fast, so you usually can't react to it. That's his like one of the guaranteed W combos. But with Zaya especially, because his E is doubled, he can do it from really far away. So even if you think that Zaya is alone and he can make a pick or something, Rakan is probably gonna be around. And he has to be, because Zaya Rakan is really strong combo. Well, that being said, I want to know your prediction for game one. Who do you think takes it away?
Um, I like the Aurelion Soul a lot. Um, Unfortunately, he doesn't have anything to kind of like help him set up for those ults, but there isn't really that much hard CC, and he can kind of use his E to get away from a lot of stuff if he does get engaged on. So I do think that's going to be a pivotal pick. So I am going to go with um, Argonauts for this one because I think the Garen will likely be able to get a flank off at least once, which will be big once he gets Stride Breaker. Because if he gets Stride Breaker on a lot of people, they're walking slow. They're going to start feeling the pain and they're going to start walking slow, and that Aurelion Soul ult's going to come down. The Xayah can dodge it with her ult, the Tristana can W out, but depending on what else is used prior, they might just be caught. So I do think Argonauts does have a little bit of advantage. It's gonna be an insanely close game though. Um, like down to the wires, probably one team fight at Baron.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Plus, Garen having those silence in the game will make Rakan's life a little harder, at least his life a little harder. So I can see that scenario happening. But for me personally, I can't really go against the boys, even if I think the comp uh has a condition attached to it. Um, so I would go with TDS Anteaters. Um,
Yeah. All right. But we are gonna go on to a brief spectator delay as we load into games. But we will be right back after this short break.
oh, and welcome back to TDS Anteaters versus TPO Argonauts, joined with me. Oh, not joined with me. I'm joined by Jim Halpert from from TPO, and I'm not so dark.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And it's exciting. Looks like Argonauts are already trying to look for some level 1 strat. Moving down into bot river currently.
Spawn.
Well, TDS
Yeah.
is just kind of like, we're here
TDS
to
is
chill
doing-
out.
Yeah, a standard 5-point. They also awarded pretty early, so they will be spotted on this invade, and TDS can go for an invade of themselves, like for themselves. They opt not to do it. They just warded the blue buff, and at least he's walking away. Both the wards actually getting caught, which might give
Minions have
Doctor
spawned.
MF and the Divine Doctor Bovine a little bit of XP advantage in the lane.
Yeah,
We'll have to see how this turns out.
Kind of surprised, but I do see that Garen's pathing towards that blue buff, so it might have been wise to not go, but he didn't even check. So the Elise and Sion could have easily stayed at that blue buff there and taken it. But it looks
Absolutely.
like they're
But
just
I think
gonna,
it's like more playing safe.
they're just gonna kind of start opposite sides. TDS, Nidalee's gonna path towards bot, and Red Eagle's pathing towards that top lane. So it looks like they're trying to get 2 different lanes ahead.
Yeah, I can definitely see Elise walking away from the Scion. Nothing really to be gained, because Garen is such a safe laner when he needs to be. While Blitzcrank
Does land a hook, but Rakan's able to knock him up. He's running Glacial Augment, so he's getting a lot of damage down onto Kai'Sa. The Ignite was burned from him as well.
Yeah, a very good use by W by Rakan, because Blitzcrank level 1 is just a hook. He doesn't really have a lot of damage. He doesn't have his another CC. Level 2 is where things get juicy and Rakan goes in.
Rakan gets back though. He does have the E to kind of dash away, so he's not getting too much damage trying to make more aggressive plays.
TDS has to be really careful. Viego already did his bot side camp into looking like a gank. Is deciding to reset instead, while Elise farmed her 3 camps already. Viego's staying, wasting a lot of time.
Kinda, I think he's just waiting, trying to see if that is coming. He's now coming down, top up in fight lane. Flash is blown by the Scion to make it out. Ooh, good hook by Blitzcrank and bot side as they're able to pull the Rakan and stun him long enough to get that first blood.
A little misplay by Rakan not being able to react to the hook, has his own flash up. But fortunately for TPO, Blitzcrank lands those hook and they get the first blood on Kai'Sa, who really would love kills.
Top lane, that top lane skirmish that we had, the Garen was able to trade Ignite and Flash, so it might be something that in a couple of minutes he'll be able to start back up and try to get that kill onto the Scion.
That's true, but more importantly, TDS is running double TP, not even Ignite on Tristana, which is a bit surprising because you want to get that advantage early. You're also going Halo Blades, which means you're playing for lane, but opting for TP instead of an Ignite. Well, enemy again opting for an Ignite, trying to win his lane.
Likely be something that they'll end up looking for that split push later in the game. Kind of get that advantage going and get that objective control. Go for it by Scion up in top lane to make sure he doesn't lose any CS. The Elise is able to catch out Viego, does get the snare, but the Shroud is able to get Viego fast enough out. Not another cocoon, but he's too close to that turret to dive anymore.
Yeah, another cocoon lands, but not able to find the kill is really good for the Viego because he's even in CS now, and there's no kill pressure from TDS, who need to get this Elise some kills and get her ahead.
She definitely needs to be more active. She is just sitting there waiting in the rush. She doesn't have the vision though. Aaron's gonna face check her, does block it. The smite goes down. The Viego does get the blue buff, but they walked straight into Scion. They're still chasing for that Nidalee. They're just gonna turn, and Viego just dies.
A little over aggressive from the Garen and Viego, walking straight at Elise while Siren was walking down. They saw him move away from mid top lane while the Tristana jumps in for some auto trades. But yeah, 1-1 scoreline, I think it still favors Argonauts a little bit more because TDS needs to get ahead, use their lead, use a strong mid-jungle duo to get some pressure on this Acel who's farming just as well as Tristana, if not better.
Blitzcrank did roam mid there, up in top lane, we're seeing the Garen trying to apply pressure to the Sion, not being able to do much. Khan's trying to zone Kaisa off the bot lane. Sion 6 though, he did hit 6 first, so he could potentially look for an ult.
With a pretty interesting matchup, Sion is able to, after one reset, able to just tank the scare in front.
The ult does come out. They're looking for a dive here. W does secure it. Meanwhile, bot side, the Blitzcrank lands another hook and gets another kill onto that Kaisa. Already had a gold lead and an item lead on to the Xayah.
Yeah, 400 gold in lead, TPO Argonauts and kill score being 2-2. So again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but TDS needs to push a pace in the mid lane because Tristana farming even with Asol is
Not good.
helping Asol. Like, as an Asol, you would handshake any matchup that allows you to farm.
Yeah, and they should definitely have mid prio to pull this Drake, but Tristana's not able to do it. And she roamed earlier trying to help out at the blue buff fight, but got nothing for it, as the Reliant Soul was just able to farm back up.
Totally agreed, but they do have a lot of time still. Scaling has not come out yet. They still have 20 minutes-ish to get that lead. I think at this point, Tristana, once she gets an item, she can just go ham on Asol because he needs to get that Roa and he needs to stack that Roa, which is going to take at least 15-20 minutes.
So Dark, I'm going to ask you this. How often does a DVA play Sion?
Well, not... I don't
Good
really know
Cocoon
how...
by Nidalee does get the kill onto the Aurelian Soul. Oh,
As we
does
said, this
land
mid
from
jungle needs to do this more, and very good pickup by Nidalee. He was able to just walk up and cocoon the Asol while he was in his W animation. I don't really know.
Because
how
he
Summon
still
was
has his minion dematerializer. He hasn't used a single one 8 minutes into the game.
You know what, Jim? Sometimes you just need to make a point, and I think he's making a point by not using it and having it.
Have
But,
that CS lead, even without using that. After that one kill, being able to push in that wave.
Which is a little interesting. I have not seen minion dematerializer on Xayah. As I say
Going
that,
in on the Xayah. They're trying to kite for her. She is putting down a ton of damage. Good hook and then a W to follow up for the Kaisa to get the kill. Blitzcrank's just trying to peel. The Rakan does shut down the Kaisa. And Blitzcrank flashes under turret. The heal does come out. And a double kill for Rakan.
a fight that looked really bad for TDS turned out Rakan gets a double kill, which is ironically not bad for Rakan if he goes through Elias and his AP ratios being buffed. It'll help them in the bot lane a lot more. But obviously Kanta getting 3 kills really early on is going to be really stronger than Xayah.
My big concern was that big wave. Yes, the Rakan did get the double kill, but Xayah just lost a good chunk of a big wave.
That's totally true, yeah. As an ADC, nothing is more bad than losing waves because you don't really care about the kills. You care about the XP and the gold because you're already starved so much from those things.
So Elise is on Herald, and TDS is placing some really good deep vision. They have one on the blue buff, a pink ward on the TPO blue buff, as well as a pink ward in that brush behind Dragon Pit that did just see Blitzcrank and Viego Path first. They do know that they're there.
Yeah, definitely
So
good.
they can potentially just look for a trade here.
Definitely good vision line for TDS, but now Red Eagle knows that there's vision. Walks up, clears that control ward. While TDS was able to get the Rift Herald, and I think getting Rift Herald early on is really good for TDS because they can accelerate this Tristana that much faster. So I would like to see that going down mid lane, looking for another dive perhaps on this
Very
Asol.
interesting ult by that Aurelian Soul, just to clear the wave and get pushed in. Blitzcrank and Viego are coming in bot side looking for another kill. There's no level 6 on Blitzcrank. The ult from Xayah does dodge it. A good knockup followed up by a good root by Xayah and Rakan to kind of dissuade further aggression.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Elise is mid. She's looking to drop that Herald mid and trying to get as many turret plays with the Aurelion Soul back.
Feels like NKB is listening to me, but this is exactly what I wanted them to do. Getting a lot of plates mid lane, getting Tristana, unlocking Tristana is really important in this game, more than like any other game you would be playing with on Tristana ADC. Because Tristana needs to get items, she needs to be able to solo kill this Aesol as fast as she can, right? She needs to be able to put more pressure and roam around the map and actually get more kills than this Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa into Tristana is a hard matchup for Kai'Sa. She can't really create autos, especially if Tristana has bomb. As we say that, Blitzcrank is on a roam, is on a mission finding Elise on her Raptors. Seems like TPO pinging for the Dragon setup, which is up in 20 seconds. Let's see if TDS has anything to answer for it, which seems unlikely since Elise is up.
Elise just, they must have had some idea of where she was passing. They was coming to set up this, but good aggression from Tristana in mid does force Bovine to get back off. Does do about half his health.
Definitely takes half her health, but seems like TPO is going to set up for the Dragon, as I said before, but not opting to start it. Gives it at least enough time.
They were just more worried about the push in bot lane and the chunks of damage by their team. Ult from Sion mid lane, the Aurelion Soul is able to just dodge out with it. Sion just rushes towards Drake, so now TDS is just turning onto that Drake.
Yeah, good ult by Sion dissuades any warding by TPO. And now he's able to TP back top, so really good play from them, pushing the pace, using their ultimates, using their pressure. A little misplay by TPO, I would have to say. They had the setup, they had the chance to either go bottom lane and kill that Xayah, or just start dragging them themselves.
Big thing to notice is that Sion already has the Heartsteel built, while Garen's still looking for their mythic. Sion's hurting hard on this Garen.
Yeah, even with the Ignite drop, Sion barely took any damage, and this is going to go from bad to worse unless Garen's able to pick up that second item, Black Cleaver, which would be really good for him. But he needs to buy his first Stridebreaker item, and seems like he's really far away from it since he doesn't even have Iron Whip.
No, he's only got about 1,300 gold in his pocket right now. Sion's able to just kind of go in, doesn't really care, tanks the tower shot, it's tanky enough. He's been CSing exceptionally well into this Garen that did apply a lot of pressure.
Yes, it's a bit hard for Garen because he also took Ignite, so he doesn't have TP to ever answer the Sion, who's going to be potentially be unkillable from this Garen. They have to send multiple people on the side lane if he's going to be a threat, and Sion into Aesol is not a good matchup for Aesol. Generally, Aesol is really good into tanks, but into Sion, who has his Q on a really short cooldown, and also has his ultimate, Aesol struggles a bit in doing DPS. But again, not too much happening in 15 minutes. I think the timer, as I say that, Tristana jumps in for more trade. And as you can see, Tristana is really happy in this matchup, but I just feel like she needs to push a little bit more. They need to find more angles. As I say that, Blitzcrank walks in, tanks it, third shot, walks away.
It's something to notice though. The Aurelion Soul does have his level 2 ult as well as the empowered ult. It looks like a collapse mid. Tristana W's out. The Blitzcrank hook does go wide. Nice foot sidestep by NKB to avoid all that damage.
Yeah, great fancy feat, and as you can see, Tristana was able to kill the whole wave, jump in, do damage, proc her bomb, and then walk away with a W reset, right? So in this matchup, if she's able to proc her W twice, I think Aesol is pretty hard. It's pretty hard for him to do. So I think not banning it and picking Tristana to answer it was a good play, after all.
Yep.
Now they're looking to put more pressure on the second Herald. Yeah, definitely an idea. I think their top side is really strong with Elise, Sion, Tristana both being strong. Sion's just gonna stack.
He's just gonna sit there and be like, I'm just stacking. I got my passive stack, and then I got my Heartsteel stack. Naya is down here by themselves. The Gale Force was blown, as well as the ult to dodge the hook. She's able to kind of avoid, but does blow the ult.
A little over aggression from Zaya. Doesn't really have to walk away from the turret because the whole team is playing for the Rift Child, right? They're all trying to get that, and she has to blow her ult and her Gale Force, which means she's not even safe on the turret now if Blitzcrank wants to fight. Seems like Tactical Baptism isn't looking for a hook just yet. Maybe on this wave they can go for a dive, and they're looking for their own dive up top lane.
They're looking for that first turret blood up the top lane. Sion ahead. They do have Rakan up there as well. Rakan goes in, does get the knock up. Another ult, 2 ults blown to kill the Garen, as well as the turret does go down.
Yeah, great play by Nidalee and Rakan, trying to get. It's gotta be confusing. Me calling him Nidalee.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Nidalee. The Skank is looking for the Zaya, who does not have any ultimate anymore. He needs to flash this hook. He's trying to dodge, but not enough.
A bit of miscommunication there. Good knock up onto the East. Does get a lot of damage, but they just tank the turret and go in for a kill onto the Aurelion Soul.
Just as I was saying, Rachel is not very happy in this matchup. He put out a lot of damage, but it doesn't really matter because Sion, at this point, because Acel has no max health damage yet, Sion is able to just tank it and knock him up, while at least finishes the job.
That was 2 turrets and 2 kills for just the bot tier 1. They're looking to potentially set up for Drake, but it's still not up for it. Well, it's just up now, but the Vieko's backing and decided not to. There was a bit of miscommunication in that kill onto the Zaya in bot lane though. Viego did flash there, so that is something to keep in mind for this next fight. Was missed. Blitzcrank kind of playing games with Sion right now, just moving him around. His life a little bit hard.
It's gonna be an interesting fight. Looking at how Sion has to deal with this Blitzcrank and this Acel. Just had a good fight on their terms.
4v5. This is not a good fight for them to pick. Rakan does go in deep, but he doesn't get a lot. The W is missed after Viego does take the Rakan, so he just goes down instantly. The Cocoon lands onto Kaisa, another kill for the Elise, who was able to finally start collecting those kills. Aurelion Soul stepping up really far. The flash from Tristana does get her away from the middle point, but the Sion's just able to get there and tank up for it. Meanwhile, Garen did take top lane, but tier 1, but can't get tier 2 because of the teleport from Sion. Good overall fight from TDS as they're able to get multiple kills in the Dragon.
Yeah, definitely have to agree. Nidalee coming out as like MVP so far has landed some really crucial cocoons and gotten his team some really good fights. But not to say that Sion isn't playing a game of his own. He's been tanking absolutely everything. He tanked Blitzcrank Hook, he's tanking Acel. He just walks up to the Acel. He says, you can continue hitting me while I knock you up for my Tristana to kill you. And that's the trade you always take, because Tristana has way more damage when she has the bomb up, right?
And he's not even building any MRs right now. He's got that Heartsteel, he's got Steel Caps, he's got Sunfire Cape. No MR in his kit, and he's just kind of looking at it going like, yeah, you're not anywhere near late game. You're currently behind, and it's just kind of, I'll see you later.
Also an interesting situation happening in the game where TPO opted to focus bottom lane, and unfortunately TDS bottom lane wasn't able to do much in return, but somehow the Kaisa and Zaya are probably on the same items.
Garen's pushing really far ahead without his team anywhere there. The Cocoon does land from the Elise. Ooh, bad misclick.
Really,
I don't know if that was... I feel like Sion was just trying to laugh and make fun of his teammates, so he ulted there.
We'll go with that for sure. A little bit of
Because,
miscommunication and misplay by the Elise. But it's just a stopwatch. I think she has enough money to buy a whole stopwatch right out soon enough. So
she's still got some farming kills to get in order to do that. But I don't know why the Scion ult there after the hourglass, the stopwatch.
yeah, we're just going with he wanted to laugh at his teammates.
He was like,
Um,
so you don't feel like you're dumb. I'm gonna do something just as dumb.
Well, in any case, the difference is really big at this point. Elise has 2 items to 1 item Kraken. Kraken Slayer Viego.
She does catch out the Aurelion Soul, who does a ton of damage to the Aurelion Soul instantly. Nothing able to be engaged. Now
Almost one shot.
now they're looking for a catch
Another
out on
cocoon.
the Baron. Cocoons are definitely
Deadly.
being landed by Italy on this.
Really on this Elise has been a little cracked on these cocoons. But as you can see, Elise being this far ahead just means Aesol doesn't really get to play side lanes. Right? If he walks into a bush while moving around the map and he finds an Elise, next item, she's gonna one-shot him. But he is stacking a bit of health, so maybe after a point, he's going to be much more tanky or harder to kill. They're getting collapsed here.
Scion from teleport from Tristana, so they are looking for something. As well as a matchup by Aurelion Soul into mid. Good root, as well as the catch out. They're trying to get this Scion, but he's way too tanky right now. We're finally able to get him down. But they do have to kind of play forward. The ult comes through. They're looking for more kills here. Elise just blows up the Viego. Kaisa does try to get in onto the Tristana, but it's knocked away by the ult. Xayah goes in, and I don't know what she was doing. Got too close to the Blitzcrank and does end up going down herself.
Yeah, definitely not the greatest showing. Elise is looking for more, but isn't able to find anything yet. A fight that started from TDS ended up being bad for them. Even with this big of a lead, Rakan was just able to wasn't able to do anything after he went in because he got silenced, he got knocked up, and after that they just started losing the fight. They weren't fighting as 5, and they weren't really able to kill anybody off, right? And Viego with his passive now being able to crit this Kraken really helps him a lot. Killing that Scion.
I didn't even notice that he went Kraken.
Yeah, no, he
Last
went
time I
Kraken.
played Viego, it was Divine Sunderer, which I would have expected with the Zion being there.
Well, Viego did have a change recently where his passive is now able to crit, which means his double auto attacks on anything are really.
Looks by Blitzcrank does get a lot of poke damage and
That's
the
having
Shurelya's.
Does blow out the Shurelya's and a lot of health from the Rakan, so he won't have.
Another hook. They're looking to get their Rakan out early. Zion's there to kind of zone him out after the stasis goes through. W does land onto their Rakan, so he's chunked out hard, and there's no more plant berries for him to take. So he's going to be forced to back, which will result in a 4v5 here. Blitzcrank just gets hit hard, but a big ult by Aurelion Soul onto 2 makes it so the Rakan is essentially gone. The Tristana's getting caught out as well. Kaisa goes under turret to shut her down. Fight continues on. The Elise is just going after the kills, but Kaisa's in the backline just getting everybody, as well as the Aurelion Soul. A massive fight after a massive Aurelion Soul ult. Does take 5 for 1, just the Viego going down for TPO Argonauts.
Yeah, and we're seeing this really big turnaround from Argonauts. We're playing a really good front to back. His team fight comes then TDS is, because Elise is trying to kill people in the backline while his own backline is dying. And Rakan getting picked out early is really bad.
I just noticed what happened that kind of made everybody hurt. Aurelion Soul has gotten the 10 mark on the Rod of Ages and has Seraphs complete. So he's going to start doing a lot of damage. Now he's just building additional damage, so he's going to start hurting, especially if he lands ults like that onto multiple people. The Rakan was almost essentially dead after the ult, but trying to go back in.
Yeah, trying to help his team with very little HP, wasn't able to do anything and just gives Viego a reset. But we'll have to see. The kill score is 13-13 and it's literally even in the gold. So it could be anybody's game at this point.
Looks like TDS is just kind of sitting there going, we're just going to give up this Drake here. Zion's not teleporting down or ulting down. They're just looking to get whatever they can regarding farm. Get side lane push for that Zion.
Yeah, something we didn't really touch up on. TPO was
Hook
able
onto
to get
Elise by the Blitzcrank, but she is able to land the Cocoons and not get blown up and knocked up and blown up instantly. She does take a lot of damage for that though. Zaya's getting poked out heavy by these W's too. Galaxy Fox is doing a lot with this W poke. Aaron's also split pushing bot lane. Did make the Sion walk all the way back to kind of match him. They're looking to take tier 2 turrets off of this Baron, as well as the Drake. Blitzcrank does land another hook, as well as an ult onto 2 by the Aurelion Soul. Zaya does ult to get out, and is successful, but isn't able to do much. Aaron's just looking at taking this turret and ignoring the Sion. Sion does ult as the Tristana joins, tries to get the kill. The turret does go down. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Viego does go in and gets the Elise, as well as Kaisa goes in to take down the Zaya. Not the best call to have their Tristana rotate down, because the turret did go over anyway, and they lost both mid-turret inhibitor and mid-inhib. Gave over 3 kills in the long run.
Yeah, definitely a little mishaps happening past team fights, and as you said, maybe sending Tristana in the bottom lane wasn't the best move. She was able to pick up a kill on that Garen, who's probably not worth a lot of money, but was pushing the side lane, and Sion was not able to stop him by himself. He can tank a lot of damage, but he can't dish out that much. So it's interesting to see how the game has turned, with Viego now being just as relevant. He went Infinity at second.
Yep.
So I guess he's doubling down on that passive, being much stronger now, while Asol has been farming pretty nicely here. If we check on Asol's stacks, he has 269 at 28 minutes, and 10 per minute is really good. So he's keeping up with pace, even in the Tristana matchup, and this guy's out of reach from anybody. She's really strong, has a lot of mobility, and she's sitting behind his Blitzcrank and this Garen every time, so nobody can reach her either.
Yeah, and the just power that is coming out of Argonauts is essentially making it so that the Sion has to be there. We're seeing the Rakan almost getting blown up instantly every time that he gets pulled. Not the best game for him. The ult coming down from Aurelion Soul, massive knockups as the Zaya's dead instantly. They're looking to dive and get more kills. They're trying to get as much as they can out of there. Galaxy Fox on Kaisa does go in and get another kill. It's just the Elise left as the Blitzcrank goes in and makes sure that everyone dies there. A clean 5 for none. As TPO Argonauts is just looking to get to mid and start taking Nexus turrets.
Yeah, I think they should be able to finish on this push. On being the only one up for 13 seconds at least isn't gonna stop them too much.
Does get the Aurelion Soul shut down.
That does get the ASL shut down, and you know what? Sometimes that's when you think, even if the game hasn't turned out the way you wanted it to be. But as you can see, come late game, this ASL is going to be a problem. We saw the ultimates being absolute team fight winning, and this Kaisa being fed early was also a big problem for TDS, where they were able to um, not only kill her, sorry, not only be not able to kill her, she was also dishing out a lot of damage, and you can't really take
Um,
so much damage when the only front line is a Scion, because the Rakan was getting blown up instantly.
I think that TDS for Game 2 definitely needs to do something about their bot lane. I don't know if you've looked at it yet, but Kaisa did 22,000 damage to Zaya's 8,000 damage.
Yeah, and as I said, they focused the bottom lane, and Xayah was never able to come online ever, um, meaning that she was never able to get enough of an item advantage. At the end, she was only behind one item, but as I said before, that's Kaisa was playing pretty nice, standing behind her tanks and was able to just walk in when needed to execute people, right?
Yeah, she was just able to go in, make those plays, get those kills into the back line. Sion wasn't able to kind of do much in the blocking. The dive was getting pulled by that Blitzcrank a lot and focused down. Um, didn't build any magic resist, which I feel like was a mistake.
I have to agree on that. I think Paradigm should have been definitely some sort of magic resistance. If not building, I don't know, maybe Swifties this game for all the slows that they have. Um, Not sure. Could have been either way. Maybe not Swifties. I think they really needed those tabbies. But yeah, I think they need to ban out this Blitzcrank. On tactical on Blitzcrank has been the problem previously, and I think every time he gets his Blitzcrank, the team, even if he doesn't do great early, which we saw this game, um, he wasn't hooking left, right, and center. He was hooking a lot. He was able to get a lot of kills, but come late game, he was just able to target the Rakan every single time, and the Rakan was not able to do much. Right? He as soon as he went in, because Rakan has to throw himself in, and at that point, Blitzcrank just presses E, and they can just chain CC him, which was really bad for him. So I think Blitzcrank needs to go. If Anteaters takes blue, then they could always take away
Anteaters
the
did
ISO.
take red. So it looks
Sorry?
like they. I just got the update.
Okay.
Anteaters did take red for Game 2.
So if Anteaters take red, I would assume they also ban out this asshole, but I don't really know um where their priorities are, right? The Garen was not too good, so maybe not banning Shen and playing something like a little more aggressive. Maybe playing a Mordekaiser into that if he picks it. Um but yeah, I think banning out this Blitzcrank should be a priority. Banning on this ASOL, unless you can push the pace this game, which they were trying last game, and weren't really able to push this. As I said, he was farming almost 10-minute his Stardust, and if they can't push him behind, then it's going to be a problem again.
And I am getting a set for draft number 2 right now. As we are going, as the teams are ready, everything is set up. So see where everybody is at regarding these two.
Yeah, definitely interested to see what the changes would be in draft number 2. What do you think should be changed?
Um, I would definitely say the Garen's not the problem. Apparently, they have an idea for the Garen. That Rallying Soul was able to um, scale and just be the Aurelian Soul. So that definitely needs to be something that's banned. As well, maybe targeting ADC wasn't the best idea. Maybe getting rid of that Blaze Crank in the first 3 is a big thing. Because that was an impactful pick. We saw time and time again the Rakan getting hooked. It was a bad game from TDS Anteaters bot lane. Overall, they got hooked, they got killed. I think they had 14 deaths between the two of them.
Yeah, definitely need to work on um, some of those plays. So I'll be surprised if they don't ban Blitzcrank and opt into something of a handshake again for lane, it's fine. Rakan is able to go and get out. But as come late game, we saw he was able to find Rakan constantly. We do see the bans now. Shen, Kindred are kept while Argonauts keeping the same bans as well. Lee and Caitlyn. Let's see what the third ban is. Aso.
Brilliant Soul. So they did leave the Blitzcrank open, so they might have an idea there. Wouldn't surprise me if that's maybe first pick. I don't know. But no, they're looking at the first pick. Tristana is something that can be flexed. We've seen Dr. Bovine Basher in previous iterations of this team play ADC, so he could potentially take it mid himself, or it could go to Galaxy Fox down mid lane as well. So
Yeah,
down
definitely.
in bot lane.
A definitely good pickup B1 Tristana. Any flex champion is really good champion picking up early. Anteaters though, taking their time picking up Seraphine, which is also a really good flex pick. Can be flex 3 times. Mid ADC support. And we'll have to see what the pick R2 though.
It will be something hard because if they do run an APC in that bot lane, it is something that they have to worry about. But that's looks like a Zillion.
A Zillion pickup who's also a flex pick into support and mid lane, but
that's
there
the
goes the Blitzcrank
that comes out. Did not get
I don't
banned.
really like this.
Yeah.
If I don't like it because they pick 2 enchanters and need to play from distance, and Blitzcrank just negates it.
It's like, hey, would you like to see my friends?
Well, they can go for Scion.
Thing.
They can go for Scion again. They do see a Garen once again. We'll have to see if they change up the support out of this, or if the Zillion Seraphine is going to be a bottom lane, which would be very interesting. I've not seen that.
It wouldn't surprise me if Anteaters are taking the Viego. Apparently, they thought that was something that was pivotal in those fights. The ult did help out a lot, as well as CC. Didn't have that much overall damage. Did slightly more than the the Zaya that past game.
Well, I do have insider information, but I will not give it out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from now. They do pick Viego, and they picked him so early that Scion is now banned, with Silas and Maokai banned by Anteaters. Orange Scion gone from Argonauts' side.
Silas and
Maokai
from Anteaters.
This is very interesting draft ban choices. Anteaters is going a very interesting picks too, with Zillion, Seraphine, Viego early picked. We'll have to see if this is a R4 support pickup.
I would always really enjoy seeing a Nyla Zillion bot lane at some point, just because the XP bonuses that you get between the two, and then essentially you can just be like, all right, Nyla, I'm throwing the bomb on you, you dash in, and I'm just going to throw the bomb on you again as you ult. Essentially make Nyla her own engage tool. She doesn't need anyone else. She's just herself with the Zillion ult and Zillion bombs.
Right. I think with how Anteaters is drafting so far, I would much like a Braum and send Zillion mid. Since the Argonauts have picked up so much engage with Blitzcrank and Amumu, they really need to protect the Seraphine. And now they're picking up Annie, which is a really good meta pick again.
Yeah.
So Annie could be flexed mid support. Tristana could be flexed mid ADC.
Annie's probably gonna be
mid lane. Yeah,
mid lane. There, it does have a lot of easy play. Does have a lot of bursts, which kind of plays into the effect of, are they going to pick a different mid lane here, or is it going to be Seraphine or Zillion? Because Annie can stun somebody and just blow somebody up quick.
It could still be flexed with Seraphine, but potentially looking like a Seraphine bottom lane, or a Zillion bottom lane with Viego jungle and Ilawi top.
We definitely know where Viego, Ilawi, and Sivir are going. It's just who's the support, who's the mid laner.
Yeah, and we'll let everybody know once we do get the confirmation when they pick up their champions. But looking at this draft, I think the draft is everywhere. It's hard to pick the pieces on what I would prefer to be focused on. But having a Sivir in the bottom lane, which means you're scaling, you're pushing out your waves, you're never in danger of getting dove.
They do
And having the
counteract
Zealand
the
does the same
hook.
thing.
That spell shield does counteract the hook once, so that
It
is something that they kind of looked at. Like, I want to play safer and have that hook potentially not hit me if I play it right.
That's true, but Blitzcrank can always just hook Seraphine.
Yeah, they can
That
just
was
hook.
my biggest issue, and this is where Blitzcrank actually shines the most when he plays into long range enchanters. That's when you see him being picked most because his range is so good against those champions. He doesn't, as a melee champion, he can hook them from like 2 bushes away. Um, and that's like something you have to be really careful of. Seraphine does have a lot of range of herself, but as soon as she has to walk up, or if the minions are dead, or Amumu comes bottom lane, there's not many options to dodge that hook,
Yeah, and it
and they
does
can't really
look
tank
like
it.
Argonauts did kind of scout out Rogue Crown because I just pulled up his U op.gg. I do show a lot of enchanters, the Rakan, the Zillion. So I'm guessing it's going to be Zillion because I didn't see anything regarding Seraphine on her. Um,
Yeah, Seraphine, they picked up Seraphine middle, and Annie is also going mid lane. So the confirmation for those are set in, which means Sivir, Zillion, bottom against Tristana, Blitzcrank, which is, I'm not going to lie to you, a really hard. It's going to be really hard for TDS bottom
yeah,
lane to play pre-6, right? Post-6, maybe you're able to run away with Sivir, you're able to um, revive somebody with Zillion. But pre-6, if Blitzcrank is able to get in there, Zillion does not have a lot of damage early on, and neither does Sivir, but Tristana does. So it'll be really hard if they get engaged on. It'll be really hard if they get ganked by a Mumu, who's going to be having much easier time ganking than Viego. And having that Annie set up a kill for you is going to be way more easier on TPO side than TDS side. We'll have to see.
and you can even think about it. There's going to be a lot of CC from this Blitzcrank when they're trying to set up for objectives. But if Annie's there with a stun, almost anyone's going to get blown up.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if
Blitzcrank's going to
Viego.
knock him up, silence him. There's going to be the stun from Annie coming through, bomb likely from Tristana. So it's essentially going to be they're going to throw everything at that one person, blow him up quick, and make fights uneven.
Well, I also want to shine the other side of the coin here. If Anteaters somehow is able to get ahead early on, I think their comp just face rolls it. Because they have a Zillion that can revive Viego, they have a Seraphine that can keep Viego alive, and they have Sivir that can help Viego with his range, right? So if they get ahead early on, which obviously I'm hoping for, um, if they're able to do it, they'll be in a good position. Or if Argonauts misplays it, but generally speaking, Argonaut has a really easy comp to play. Um, they have almost 2 point-and-click abilities that can just CC you to death. Amumu being one, whose Q is probably just point-and-click at this point. Double Qs, has his flash and ultimate, and then Annie being the notorious one-shotter that she is, um, paired up with Tristana. We'll have to see if TDS is able to keep their pace and either able to scale up better, because I think they are scaling better, but or they're able to get ahead by if TPO makes mistakes.
And with that, we are going to go on to a brief spectator delay as we load into game. But thank you for those who have joined so far, and stay tuned as we get into game 2.
Oh, and welcome back for game number 2 between TDS Anteaters versus TPO Argonauts. Once again, I am Not So Dark, joined by Jim Halpert for this game 2, and the score has been 1-0 in favor of TPO Argonauts.
It looks like TPO Argonauts is looking again for another level 1, trying to get anything. They do have the Blitzcrank, which is...
30 seconds
they
until
did see the
minions spawn.
Zillion step out to place down that ward. They are being seen walking in. Looks like
Yeah,
they're just
TDS
gonna
paying
settle
attention.
for those wards again. No deep vision was placed by TDS this time. So
Yeah, no deep vision. Viego actually opting to just stay where he was, but
Minions have
Oh.
spawned.
now he's going in warning. Now he did it. But yeah, good respect paid by TDS. They do know that there's a Blitzcrank on the enemy team, so they're playing it safe and always 5-pointing and warding out any potential invades. So good job. But this is looking like no leash from the bottom lane might be able to get another cheese.
does look like the Amumu is gonna start topside. I didn't even think about it. Annie now starts with her stun, so she would have a point and click stun as well. So
Yeah,
that would
that's
have been
really good.
really good.
Yeah, that's really good for Annie. Is trading in the minions though, losing a lot of health, but trading just as much. Started corrupting pots, gonna be healing back. Out goes on.
Frank does land a hook onto the Zillion. The Ignite does go out, so forcing the Zillion to flash.
Yeah, very
Something to
interesting.
notice that there is no heal in your bot lane. There's the ghost onto the Sivir. The Zillion could potentially be unprotected here. She is forced to blow the ghost. Does get forced to flash the hook. Another auto might have ended up killing her there. Big early aggression from the Argonauts bot lane. Does get 4 summoner spells out of this TDS bot lane.
Yeah, now any other hook will be potentially be deadly. TDS not paying respect, not realizing that there's a cheese potential, walking in lane, getting hooked instantly. Seeing Viego going up top.
Viego is topside. Another hook from the Blitzcrank. The double bomb doesn't land. It looks like it's going to be first blood to Tristana. Meanwhile, top lane, the Viego does go in onto the Garen. The Garen's able to Q out. The Ignite as well as the auto might burn down Alawi, and it does. A massive outplay by the Garen to flash and Ignite as the Alawi was tanking that turret.
Yeah, it's just very, it's gone really bad for TDS, a bad start from them.
Viego was able to push in that top wave though, for the Alawi to make it so that the wave isn't massively frozen in front of that turret. She's just forced to stay there. But
Yeah,
the
definitely
Amumu, Annie, and Blitzcrank to invade this entire bot side jungle. Looks like they're just trying to get as much as they can. Double bomb just barely missed by the Zillion. Blitzcrank's looking to fish out another hook. Does land it onto the Zillion once again. The bandage toss from Amumu does make it so that the Zillion goes down once again. Viego is finally here in his bot side jungle, but there's almost nothing left as he's trying to walk towards the 4-man squad of TPO Argonauts.
Yeah, a 3-0 start from TPO, looking really good. Keeping the momentum up and invading Viego's bottom side. Well, TDS bot lane isn't able to do anything, especially with the Blitzcrank always near. And as you can see, Zillion has to play with so much respect because another hook, he has no flash, and he's not 6 yet. He's only level 2 to Blitzcrank's level 3, and his own ADC is level 4. So it's a bit problematic for TDS. We'll have to see if they're able to come back, get something, or if TPO misplays a little bit, which looks really hard at this point.
It's
But on the
something
good news,
to notice that depending on how strong this Alawi does end up getting, she does have teleport. It's the only teleport in.
yeah, which is interesting because Seraphine has to opt into a cleanse because they have Annie stun, which is instantly, as I said, she one-shots you after a couple of items, and Seraphine as a mage does not stack a lot of health.
Did
At
see
best, she will
Viego
guard.
topside as well, so the Garen was able to just back off here as well, as the Amumu and Blitzcrank are just able to go duo this dragon.
Yeah, Bilawi on the other side is able to take up a plate, which is actually the first turret plate, which I would not expect since TDS has been pushed in a lot in the bottom lane. But yeah, as I was going to point out, some good news for TDS is that they're farming good. The top lane is farming good, the mid lane is farming good, and they're not too far behind in the bottom lane. So there's still some hope, there's still some fight left in them. It's only 6 minutes into the game, and they just have to stall out the game a little bit more, where they can scale up and do that. As I say that, Amumu's looking for a gang, does land the hook.
Does land the hook. The W in from Tristana does get another kill onto the Zillion. The spell shield is out. They're looking for a dive. It's a flash out, but they're not able to get any more damage onto the Sever, who just goes and is able to walk away. This may end up being potential damage onto this, or plates onto this bot lane turret.
Yeah, as you can see, oh, the dive going
Blitzcrank
on.
does go in, does get it, but now the Viego's there. She flashes in to secure the route onto it. Knock up onto the Blitzcrank. The W's able to land. Viego's gonna
Not able to find the Tristana.
find the Tristana over the wall. She's able to get out, so no shutdown gold off that Tristana.
Definitely interesting bottom dive. TPO was able to not only kill Sivir, but also able to get Tristana was also able to get out. L1 going on with the stun. Tristana just buffers her W and walks away. So now, as you can see, there's a clear-cut win condition on both teams, right? TDS wants to get this Lawi ahead. They've identified that the bottom lane is not winning, and it's not going to be easy for them to get onto the Tristana. So they're focusing on the top lane. Viego has been tapped a lot. Another hook onto Sivir.
Spell shield does come out, but they're able to get her out. But don't. Not entirely sure did what that damage, but the bandage toss in mid lane does go wide for the Mumu, so that Seraphine is able to get out there. This bot lane of TPO
It's sick.
Argonauts is just bullying.
Yeah, Tristana was able to hit Sivir with her ultimate, blasting with her bomb. And was able to get
Oh,
a
it's
kill.
top side. They're looking for it, but the flash after the root does get the Garen out. Good play by him to make sure that it gets out there alive, but Viego's definitely going to need to look top again with that flash being down.
Yeah, TDS is trying really hard to focus on this top lane, but their bot lane is suffering. And if your bot lane is suffering, usually that means you're losing a lot of dragon pressure. And I haven't seen Viego start the Rafael yet with all his top lane pressure, which is potentially really bad for. I mean, it is pretty bad for him, because he's not gonna be able to get these dragons. They might get prio, but every time we have seen time and time again, every time this Blitzcrank goes into a bush, he gets somebody hooked.
I would like to point out the fact of how much this Blitzcrank is roaming. Zillion has died 3 times, but is level 6 while Blitzcrank is not. So Blitzcrank is sitting there looking at it going like, I just want to get Tristana ahead. And then see what else I can do, get vision down, do whatever.
Oh,
Another hook by Blitzcrank onto the Zillion. The ult does come out. Good double bomb to shoot up the Tristana. The Viego is coming down. They might have overstepped here, as the Viego is now here. Good flash by the Tristana does get her out, as well as another flash by the Blitzcrank.
Not able to find
Seraphine
anything else.
did
Just
roam
down
down
away.
as well. But the Herald does go over to the TPO Argonauts as a lot was blown bot side to kind of get that kill onto the Blitzcrank again. They're looking to just instantly drop Herald mid lane. Try getting as much pressure onto this mid turret and as many turret plates.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see if the Seraphine is able to keep her CS lead, because she did roam, as you pointed it out before. And Annie has not left the mid lane except for helping in invade and the Rift Herald. But as you can see, every time they go for a bot lane play, they don't really get anything except Blitzcrank, and you always take those if you're TPO.
Oh, they're using Child as bait. That's not nice.
No, Blitzcrank walks over control ward, isn't able to take it just yet.
I think he's just trying to zone him out because the Amulu just turned on to that Drake. I don't know what this Allow is doing. Has the pressure and everything. Smite is blown by Viego on the Gromp, which does give TPO essentially an uncontested Drake now. So there's currently been no neutrals in the favor of TDS.
Yeah, they lost the Rift Herald, which again I was pointing out they should have gone top side. Got on that. Oh, Grand looking for a solo kill here. And he gets it with the Ignite.
It's not being able to farm well with the pressure that the Allow has been making, but is able to get those solo kills out. Healthy Fox just feeling confident to fight himself. The Zillion ult was blown, as well as the Tristana ult, just to get the Zillion ult out. Essentially, she just won a 1v2 by herself if it wasn't for that Zillion ult.
Absolutely true. She's already sitting on the Kraken while Sir is praying to get some sort of gold in her pocket. And we see Blitzcrank once again in a bush, which means TDS can walk up again.
To at least get more turret plate damage onto this outer lane. Currently down 4 turret plates.
Yeah, this Tristana is going to be really problematic late game, because she's gotten all the turret plates, and she's gonna get this first turret at 30 minutes probably. If that blows up. Nope. Just barely. But I think on this push there should be able to just hit it and kill it. TDS can't really retaliate. As we say that, ulti going on to this landing.
And he does get hit with it, as well as follow up. Oh. Meanwhile, bot lane, Zillion
he's dead.
is forced to blow the hourglass. But the Galaxy Fox is able to get just another kill. Bot lane for TDS is currently 0-6-2.
0-6-2, and all of the kills on TPO is on Tristana, where you don't want to be seeing if you are a TDS fan. And as I say that, they're going for a top lane gank.
Garen does go in, trying to get a kill onto Viego. They are able to kite out a bit further, trying to dissuade as much as possible. We're able to get quite a good amount of damage out onto TDS.
Yeah, Garen was able to ult the Viego and make him potentially use this in the team fight. He's going in again. He has
Stridebreaker, which just sets up for the Blitzcrank. Bit of an overstay. Everybody else backed off. Now we were just kind of staying there. Meanwhile, Tristana just gets rotated to mid and takes another turret. Viego tries doing anything, but she just jumps in, gets the Zillion ult out and used. The Zillion ult's getting used almost on cooldown now.
Absolutely, with the Tristana being this fed, it's almost impossible for any of the 4 champions who have no sort of tankiness inherently. She's just going to one-shot everybody, especially with suppress the attack, how she does more damage after hitting 3 times, and her bomb blows after the 3 times. So she is naturally just outputting more damage than you would expect.
And it looked like the win condition that they were looking for TDS is just not in their favor. The Viego was trying to do a lot topside, but has not been successful there.
Yeah, Viego has had some kills picked up for himself, but Ilaoi sitting on an 0-3, losing her top turret so early on, probably would not be able to push. Another hook goes on.
Another
to
hook onto the Viego. He's just blown up. The Seraphine does throw out her ult trying to get him out, but just charms the Annie and Blitzcrank.
Yeah, this Blitzcrank is all over the map, and again, I am surprised that he wasn't banned in game number 2. I was surprised that he wasn't banned in game number 1, but after seeing what he did game number 1, not banning him game number 2, potentially a game-losing decision in craft.
This is definitely something that's been extremely impactful into the spot lane. He's just able to get stuff out. You do see him, so he's going to be a lot harder to get any type of hook. It does look like Argonauts is rotating to do that Herald instead. They're just mid instead.
Oh, Blitzcrank has hook, walks up, takes a little bit of poke, walks away. He's in no danger. He has Tristana Mumu in his back pocket. I was walking with him. But they might trade this dragon for Rift Herald, which is really
Aaron
good
is
for you.
walking in there. Looks like Argonauts is just looking at it going like, okay, we bring us to Soul Point for this Herald.
Absolutely. I don't
Aaron
think Rift
does
Herald,
have to be careful.
second
Playing the
Rift Herald
game
afterward.
I might be caught out. Blitzcrank flashes, trying to let him up. The Zillion's just caught out and is forced to blow his own ult to save himself. So flash
out of
Q
banning.
by Annie does get that stun.
All the while, Tristana is just pushing bottom lane, and as good of a pusher as Tristana is, probably gonna get this third on the push.
Seraphine was able to respond though and was able to stop that. Dark, what do you think that TDS can do to get back into this game? It's looking really rough.
Hope and pray that TPO throws their lead. Oh, another hook by Mumu.
Hope
Viego
that Viego tries going in for the Amumu, but isn't able to get a kill.
Close. Isn't able to get the kill, and as I said, Tristana is able to get the start on this push. Jumps on this Seraphine.
Exhausts her.
And
The
almost
Seraphine's
killed
forced to blow the
Seraphine.
ult and smash out.
Tristana did exhaust the Seraphine,
Yeah.
but not able to get the kill. Which is interesting, because you would think that she just one-shots everybody, but she's probably sitting on some gold. She is not. Oh, like she just
went.
Yeah, she just
knew.
bought a whole sorry, not Nuka. Navori quick blades. So she was sitting on a lot of gold, which is
She's sitting at 2 items as Sivir is currently on Kraken and just the magical boots.
yeah. So we're not even
Free
able to
boots.
finish tier 2 boots, and is down almost an item and a half, if not more, in terms of gold value. She's not
It's
jumping in.
4,000 gold just between the 2 ADCs. Galaxy Fox is just running away from this game as he goes in onto the Seraphine 1v1 and
Yeah, as you
blows
can
her
see,
up.
this time he was able to blow her up way faster. Didn't even need to ult her or do anything other than that. Just jumps at her, kills her, and walks away. All the while, TPO is looking to end this game soon enough. 19 minutes, 13-3 is the kill score. And TPO has all the neutral objectives in the game. Another hook on this.
Zillion wasn't even able to ult there. He just got instantly silenced by the Blitzcrank, then Garen. We are looking in further. Annie did get shut down. They do take the turret, but this is a bit of over-aggression. Annie is on the sideline though. She's forced to run away though. Good ult by Seraphine to kind of get additional more damage.
Tristana's just sitting on the
Sever
side.
does go down.
Tristana's just sitting on the side, was able to kill Sivir, but has to burn her flash. A little glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel, it seems like, with Annie and Amumu both dying under the turret, but I don't think it changed the game too much because they're still sitting on
Well, who
almost
got the
10K.
shutdown gold onto Annie? You know?
Sivir got 300 gold on Annie, plus the 300 kills, so 600 gold. And Amumu didn't really have a shutdown.
And they are able, no, the Mumu didn't have a shutdown for being level 5 at the time. They were able to get more additional bounty gold onto that top turret. Looks like they're not going to be able to get much more.
Yeah, looking down at 10k gold lead almost for TDS, for TPO, and Blitzcrank builds another inanimate object. Feels like Zilean has been this game. Zilean has been caught from way too many hooks, but he's not purely to be blamed. There's somebody that can tank it.
I don't think that's who TPO wanted that red buff to go on. Stole the TDS red buff, but it went on to Blitzcrank.
You know what? Blitzcrank is actually the carry, so I think it works. As I said that, they're trying to hover around this Baron, but Sivir is still pushing middle lane, so not much to be had. Dragon spawning in 26 minutes, which will be Infernal Soul, and if you stack an Infernal Soul onto Tristana, if you weren't already dying in 5 seconds, you're gonna die in less than that now. So
Looks like Dr. Bovine Bastard's just having a little bit of fun, blowing his ultimate onto the Garen, his own teammate there. Just now using it to just zone out with this Dragon Soul here.
yeah, this dragon's gonna go down fairly quickly. There's no contest from TDS. They can't really walk in when Blitzcrank is alive.
I think it's better for them to not contest right now. Maybe try to scale a little bit more for the next Drake, which is going to be Elder. But that's a big cutout by Alawi, as she just gets blown up by the whole of TPO.
Yeah, Blitzcrank ulting there, Garen ulting there. And as you said before, this Vega wasn't able to get this Laui ahead, and now this Garen is a problem too. Because he has more items and he is much faster on the rotation with his Deadman and his inherent Q speed.
She's not able to split push either.
Yeah, she's not. That's what I'm saying, because Garen is now also very strong. I don't think she can even match him anymore.
I don't think he can match. We saw earlier, she did have a push going in bot lane, but backed completely off before it hit that turret. Because just the fear of having to go to Baron. I don't know if at the time, if TDS didn't have the vision set down for her to teleport to. It's something that she's kind of stuck in his head still.
Vigo is sitting on a Blade of the Ruined King and he has not finished his mythic yet. I would hope he picks up a shield bow. Seraphine on one item as well. It hasn't picked up her second item, while Tristana, the wealthiest in the game, sitting on 3 items already with the Navori Kraken Bloodthirster combo, which is really deadly.
Doesn't look like anyone's near the gold for anything on TDS's side. Sivir does have 1200 gold, but everybody else is under 1000. TPO is just looking to do the Baron here now. And he's setting up for the stun again. And away. Does have stun now.
He did spotted out the Baron fairly early. Any flashes gets
to the Tibbers onto the Zilean, but isn't able to get anything else. The Zilean is able to revive himself. The Seraphine does go down to the Tristana, as well as the Alawi went down in that fight. Currently a 1-for-2 trade. Not the best for TDS. Yes, they did get another kill, but it wasn't one of the big shutdowns. It would have been better to get Tristana or the Garen here with those big juicy shutdowns that may be able to stall out the game a bit.
Absolutely true, but now they can't even walk up because they have a
This
Mumu
bomb
that's
on the turret just blows up Zillion for standing too close.
Yeah, and as I was saying before, now Tashana has a bloodthirster, which means not only is she gonna be full health all the time, she's gonna have a shield.
She's gonna look
Looking
at
for this
people and
top.
be like, "Hey, I'm gonna heal up quick. Can you just stand still?" She's
Just take
just
a
took
turret shot.
another turret shot. She's not in the safest spot. He's able to walk out. Didn't W at all.
There'll be no fear on this Tristana. I mean, we're just walking in front of her, still able
She
to.
walks back in. Does get the Aurelia.
Ooh,
Rally
that's
clone.
a lot of
She'll take a
damage.
lot of damage from her. Meanwhile, Blitzcrank does land a hook onto Diego. And the rest of the TPO blows him up. A flash in by the Garen does get the Stride Breaker onto 2. A kill onto the Zillion, who sacrificed himself to try getting the Sivir out. Another hook and ult by Amumu gets a second kill for the Garen. Meanwhile, the Tristana was just able to heal back up due to that Bloodthirster.
Yeah, and she's gonna potentially. Amumu is dead. Walking through the turret for her Tristana. Now let's see if TDS is able to hold out on this in the Nexus turret for any longer. Seems like a really hard job. Ooh, and he's dead.
They are overstepping, trolling a bit. Garen's just looking for the take the turret, but that's a lot of. We're just playing way too loose here. It looks like it's gonna get shut down. Garen got shut down. Oh.
Gets a great ult out away for Tristana, but Zillion's around, speeding up this. Viego is not able to catch up to Tristana, leaving on the skin of her teeth. Walking away safely though. They were able to pick up a shutdown onto this Garen, which means a little bit of copium for TDS on this side. So we'll have to see if they're able to do anything. There's an Elder spawning in a minute, so if the game was not already over, if TPO gets this Elder,
it's done.
The game's over.
But if they don't, then TDS stalls out for a couple minutes, maybe. If they don't get picked out by the Blitzcrank,
this is where this Viego has to become a hero. If he's able to walk in and outsmite Red Eagle, he can turn the tables really fast. Because as strong as Tristana is, Elder Buff executes on 20%. And it's potentially game losing if they lose too many fights in a row. But still, 11
aggressive with her team. Viego does go over. The hook does land directly onto him. Stunned and silenced.
Viego killed. Has to try to
go. Just chasing away. Double bomb does come out. Well, as the Sivir ult to make sure that she gets away, but it just turns onto this Elder buff. Now that the Viego is dead, TDS essentially has to take what looks like an unwinnable fight here. The Blitzcrank just lands a hook onto Alawi. She's gone already. The Tristana's looking to go in, but the Zillion's able to use his Shrelias and get the 3-man squad remaining out.
Well, as you can see, TPO is glowing bright white. That's because they just got Elder, and potentially on this push, they should be able to finish the game, especially because Tristana is so strong. Probably 2 autos to Seraphine, probably 1 autos to Sumi. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how much damage she can output. But the game is very hard now. Like, if it wasn't hard already. And they're just playing it safe, taking all the inhibitors first.
Making sure that TDS can't leave their base.
Another
hook by Blitzcrank. Massive. The Mumu is able to get a massive ult. It is a massive turnaround, but the Tristana's going in and trying to get these procs off, the Elder Drake procs off. Kills the Seraphine on the fountain as well as the Sivir. And it's a GG as TPO Argonauts takes the series in a 2-0 fashion.
Definitely a little disappointing, but well played for TPO Argonauts. Were able to find the game 2 victory, and I would want to say on a lot of it was on the Tristana and the Blitzcrank, right? Blitzcrank being the playmaker of the team, being able to just help out her AD carry and getting her so far ahead that she was not able to do anything. Like the TDS was not able to do anything about it. So again, good games.
And it was only going to get worse for TDS to try to kill that Tristana, who ended the game 12-0-6. She was working on building a Guardian Angel before the end of that game. Just looking over the stats right now, Tristana was so fed that she was able to do double the damage of the Sivir once again.
Yeah, definitely an interesting game. Do we do MVPs
Yeah, I'm
for
checking out
Argonauts?
that MVP right now.
Who do you think, before any votes go down, who do you think is the MVP for you?
I would say that it's really hard to pick. It's definitely in the bot lane. Tactical Baptism had massive plays on the Blitzcrank, was landing hooks left and right, which just essentially won them bot lane each game. And Galaxy Fox just did his job of making sure that he was the one dealing the damage, was the one that was getting there. I am putting out a vote right now. See what the fans think. Poll is out now, so I'm seeing who fans think won MVP. Apparently it just deleted on me.
Oh.
It just canceled on me for whatever. So I apologize for that.
Red Eagle coming out saying Mike was the MVP. I don't know who Mike is.
Mike was Tactical Baptism.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think for me, yeah, make it a poll, not prediction, is what he's saying.
Oh yes. Apologize, just having. Poll is out now. Those of you that are watching, be trying to pull in whoever the MVP is for this game. See how they felt after this game. So far, an outstanding vote for Tactical Baptism right now. Currently 5-1, and only other one is going to Galaxy Fox.
Yeah, only 5-1. Here, let me make it 6-1.
It's 6-1, making sure that that he's definitely coming in.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
pretty sure that was the one was probably Tactical Baptism trying to make it so that he didn't have to come, and then 4 was his teammates, and then there was 2 others. Just make sure that there aren't any more. But these were definitely a good games by TPO Argonauts. Were able to kind of pull it together. Their bot lane did have that massive advantage that did come from there for them in both games. Game 2 was a bit better for TDS's bot lane, but it just wasn't enough with how much pressure they got pushed on. It was a
Yeah, definitely
for Red Eagle as well.
Oh, 1 vote for Red Eagle and Galaxy Fox each. Seems like Tactical is going to be the winner.
Yeah.
With that 6 votes in his pocket.
gonna pull him in as time clicks down. So hopefully he's at his computer now. Having him join us for a quick interview. How's it going, Mike?
Well, we've now won our first game, the series or whatever.
How are you feeling after that one? Feeling like everybody should be banning your Blitzcrank for the rest of the split?
I feel like I got bullied by my own team. That's what I feel like right now.
Or was it all their votes that came through? I saw
The
that one came out
Galaxy
for
was
Galaxy,
selected
and
for
then there's
someone
4
else.
Olfsen for Tactical.
Yeah, it seems like Galaxy really wanted to get me in here. But you did win.
I convinced Galaxy to vote for himself.
Oh,
I got bullied by everyone to come in here.
Oh, I think it's well deserved.
yeah, definitely well
from
deserved.
both games' performances, especially letting the Blitzcrank through both games. What were your thoughts? Initial thoughts is what I want to ask. When Blitzcrank was left open, game 1 and 2.
That it was getting banned second game immediately.
Right, and it wasn't banned, which gave you guys a lot of advantage in the bottom lane because they were also not playing anything to counteract that. They played an enchanter or a
Well,
mage.
They made their attempt to counter, I believe, is what their goal of their pick was. Their hope was that they could just have their Recon tank the hooks and dash away from them. But I've played too many matchups with Blitz. I have, I believe it's 1/3 of a million mastery points on that champion alone. So
Definitely. That's what we were also talking about, how Rakan can be a little okay into Blitzcrank. But second game was a Zillion pickup, with not the best pickup in my opinion. What were you guys thinking going to that round?
it actually the exact thing that I was thinking was going to happen did. They picked something that they were going to try and just defend their support or their ADC with. I wasn't quite expecting the Zillion, but I understood why. But the next pickup I knew was going to end up being a Sivir ADC just to try and block the hooks with the spell shield. But I played too many matchups with Sivir. I know exactly what to do there too. It was very unfortunate. I will definitely say they should have banned that Blitz.
Well, I have to agree with that. Do you have any questions, Jim?
So I know that you guys have played MAS and now Anteaters. Is there anybody that you're looking forward to playing up against?
Looking to go back and beat Kobe's team in the finals here.
In the finals?
Yeah. Well, I assume. I don't know exactly how the bracket's set up. Bovine does my work for me.
So it's a 9-week regular season. You guys play each team once, and then we go into playoffs. I'm still setting up stuff for playoffs for you guys. Just kind of editing as we did lose a team, and then another team kind of reformed amongst itself, rebranded. I don't know if you were aware, but Hidden Nightmares has become a name that you will absolutely love, with your name being Tactical Baptism. Their name is now Testicles.
Testicles. Well, that's a very interesting name. But yeah, congratulations on being the MVP, Tactical Baptism. Final question from me, at least. How are you feeling after your a definite victory in game number 2 and a good win in game number 1?
Very good. We're excited to keep running these comps that we've been trying out, and we're going to try and take victories 2-0s all the rest of the way through.
Nice. All right. Well,
And that's what
thank
we'd
you.
like to hear.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Mike, and
Of
to
course.
everyone that's watching. Thank you all for watching, and we are signing off for the night. Have a nice
Bye.
night.